This is about the third or fourth unfair tax that's been placed upon specifically doctors because of how they operate. State governments have got them with payroll tax yet again. So it happens with GP practices most commonly, but it can be any practice. Essentially what the state governments are saying is that doctors working in a practice are generally contractors for the medical centre. As contractors for the medical centre is a service provider and collects the patient fees, Medicare, and passes that on to the GP contractor. And they obviously take out some service fees. So what the new development in payroll tax means is that the doctors getting that money is considered a payment for payroll tax purposes. So suddenly you've got these medical centres with $3, $4, $5, $6 million relatively easily on their books as payroll and paying like a shitload of payroll tax. Really, where's this going to come from? This is going to come out of how much the doctors get at the end of the day. So they are independent contractors, truly independent. They can just piss off and work at a hospital or go work a locum job or anything. And they're paying payroll tax on their income. It just doesn't make sense. It does make sense under the law as written because the law as written is so broad. It captures essentially any payment. And because these contractors work for, one medical center, but really they've got a whole bunch of patients, but they're technically the patients of the medical center, then we run into the issue of it looks like they only have one contract. This is on top of the additional ATO penalistic treatment of professionals, which means that doctors can't use trusts and companies to a very large extent. Doctors are also personally liable for everything. So doctors love property, they buy a lot of it, and I've seen more than a few lose it because they get medical negligence cases. Doctors get a rough treatment under the law generally, but specifically tax law really likes to just kick them in the face. The AMA and the state medical things, whatever they're called, that represent doctors, are very pissed at like all the state governments that are enforcing this. And this is after COVID. This is after, they were doing volunteer hours, out of hours, doing all these extra things. And then they just go like, yeah, extra tax. Sorry, that's just how it works. And it's really nice to see that the state government isn't getting away with it. The doctors are holding them accountable for like, you can change the law, buddy. And state governments are like, well, wouldn't be fair to everybody else. But they're more than happy to leave an unfair outcome working for doctors because it brings them revenue. So like me as a professional, I get hit with some pretty nasty tax rules like the doctors, but this is like an extra one for the doctors just because that's how they do business and it's completely unfair. And I hope that they bin this ASAP.